I think the next biggest news for the White Sox this week is, the biggest news in baseball overall
Yeah.
this week is the fact that after hanging out with President Trump,
Yeah.
uh, good old, what's the hell's the commissioner's name?
Rob Manfred.
Manfred comes back, and suddenly Pete Rose is reinstated. Shoeless
Shoeless
Joe
Joe.
is reinstated, which it was questionable that he was ever
He shouldn't have been in the first place.
shouldn't have been in the first place. So
The
it's
rest of the
been
Black Sox are reinstated. There's basically everyone that was banned by Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis back in 1920, whatever. Uh, Basically everyone he ruled out of baseball is back in, including Pete Rose, which we'll get to in a second. But
I believe the new rule is once you're dead, you're not banned, right?
yeah, it's interesting because the way it was worded originally and continued to be worded when Pete Rose was banned is permanent banishment, the
Yes.
permanently ineligible list or whatever. Now that has changed, and it's been kind of, people use the term lifetime ban at the same time, which didn't mean the same thing, clearly, because Rob Manfred was able to parse that language and say, well, it's just going to be a lifetime ban. So once these people are dead, his logic is that they can no longer harm baseball and therefore they can be reinstated to the good graces, I guess. Their punishment is done after they are dead. So yeah, you mentioned the president. The timing is curious to say the least. Like why, like all of a sudden out of the blue on a Tuesday afternoon, all of a sudden Pete Rose is eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. Shoeless Joe Jackson is eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, there was a meeting apparently last month, I believe,
Yes.
between Manfred and Trump. Yeah, and it's wild speculation what the contents of that meeting was. I think it's quite plausible, and it's been thrown out there that Trump like has been on his social media platform randomly saying that he believes Pete Rose should be reinstated in the Hall of Fame because he, of course, he used the same boneheaded logic that I've completely dismissed multiple times in this podcast and blog, where he said he was only betting on his teams to win, and that is the most naive comment to make on the subject. It's been repeated multiple times, and it's stupid. It's bullshit because it leads to all sorts of questions. Like when he was betting on his team to win, he was the manager of the Reds. Well, if he happened to have an extra amount of money on that game that night, maybe he makes weird decisions with the bullpen or pinch hitting. Maybe he burns out his bullpen just to win on some random Wednesday night and be, next game be damned. It leads to questions that we shouldn't be asking when we're watching a baseball game. The other thing is the obvious thing that few people point out, but what about the nights that he didn't bet on the Reds? Isn't that a really obvious sign that he may be making decisions to signal to his buddies or somebody he might owe money to, or other people betting on his behalf, that he could tank that game, make stupid decisions? It leads down just a horrible path, and it's unforgivable. And I don't blame Bart Giamatti, which we'll get to, for banning him from baseball for the same reasons that the Black Sox were. So Black Sox is a little bit different story. As you pointed out with Shoeless Joe, I mean, what did he bat in that World Series? He was like well over 300.
It's 375 between
Yeah.
the highest average between the Sox and the Reds.
Well, the way the way at least Ken Burns Baseball kind of framed that episode when they're going over that, I forget what inning that was, but it kind of made Shoeless Joe sound like he was kind of a bumpkin, didn't really understand what was happening. I think
he didn't know how to read.
Well, I don't think that means he's dumb. I think he potentially was playing both sides of it. he's taking the stupid gambler's money, but he's gonna try his ass off. He was just too good not to. So I don't think that's. I think there's been some revisionist history, and there's been more research into that as well. And I think that supports that. But it's curious, and I think all those guys never had any idea that there would be a commissioner that would kick them out of baseball forever, because it was probably going on all over the place. It was just didn't happen to be in the World Series that year. So most of the people on that list were from the Black Sox. The most famous of which was Shoeless Joe. So I mean, I don't know what. Christ, he passed away 70 years ago, probably.
Yeah, 51.
Yeah, so I don't know what family members he still has, or distant distant relatives that can enjoy this, potentially being voted into the Hall of Fame. That vote can't even happen, I guess, until 2027. Is that?
No,
Did
I
you
didn't
hear?
hear that.
Yeah, because it's not. They can't. Anybody that reinstated can't go right on. It goes to a like a veterans committee. I don't think that's what it's called, but it's another. It's a 16-person panel. Um, that they have to get 12 out of 16 to vote it, and they don't meet again until 2027. So the earliest Shoeless or Pete Rose or anybody could actually make the Hall of Fame would be after the 2027 year. So
I mean, he's got to be elected immediately, though.
Shoeless Joe is the only
Yeah.
issue is his career was cut so short. I think he was 32 at the time.
Yeah, he did play 13 years, though.
Okay, yeah, it's probably enough. I didn't see his, I don't know his counting numbers, how those stack up, but just imagine if he had been able to play it out. It's just sad how, I mean, he was rivaling Ty Cobb to be the best player in baseball at that point. So
Yeah, his offensive numbers are insane.
yeah.
Like fourth highest batting average of all time, 356, and OPS, a lifetime OPS plus of 170.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. He's in.
Average 216 hits per season in
Wow.
154 games versus 162 games.
Yeah.
Ichiro beat his record because he had 233 hits, I think it was. Or Ichiro holds the record with 262. But then in 1911, he had 233 hits. So, like, he was great.
This makes me really want to go back and watch Eight Men Out again. I haven't watched that in, boy, 15 years maybe.
You should watch it because they do play him off as he is a bumpkin in it. There's the guy that is asking him to spell, heckling him by asking him to spell.
Yeah.
While he's playing third, and
again, those accounts. I mean, that part, those, any historical movie is based on written accounts of it. It's no one's firsthand knowledge. So there's been other research that has shown he might not be as dumb as they played him out to be. He was illiterate, but that doesn't mean you're a fool necessarily. So,
well, I was going to do the episode as Shoeless Joe, but then I realized I wouldn't been able to read my notes.
Okay, Jesus. Well, I think if we can transition to what I'm gonna, even though he's dead, I just want to revise or go ahead.
Well, I want to. You had brought up the timing, the curious timing of so Tuesday night just happened to be with the timing of everything. It happened to be Pete Rose night at the Reds.
Yeah, the Great American Ballpark. Yeah,
on May 14th, and everyone who walked through the door got a Pete Rose jersey, and the game oversold by 1,000, so there were 1,000 standing room seats sold. So I think a little bit of the timing had to do with the fact all this celebratory stuff was going on in Cincinnati over Pete Rose.
Yeah, I mean, did the Reds have some kind of inkling that this was going to? I mean, they have to plan their promo schedule a year in advance, most likely. So I can't believe they would have known this was going to come up. But yeah, Manfred can choose to release the news anytime he wanted. So maybe he just did the Reds a favor.
Yeah,
one night's attendance. But with Pete Rose, I've written about this over the years. We've done podcasts over it. I've made him asshole of the week multiple times. I'm gonna, again, just because his name is in the news and we have to talk about him again, I'm gonna make him asshole of the week again.
He's dead, Smitty.
He's dead. I don't give a fuck. He's still an asshole. I never understood that. Like, if someone's an asshole, if they're dead, you're not supposed to call them an asshole anymore. Like, I never understood that. You have to speak well of the dead. Fuck
You'll
that.
be dead.
This guy's a piece of shit. And The Athletic actually wrote an article just spelling out the timeline, all the key points of what happened with Rose throughout when he was under investigation, and then throughout the rest of his life, and how things spelled out. So I thought you and I could go over the facts. There's no ambiguity. These are just a timeline of events that actually happen, and I think you and I can make comments as we get through those events. So you have the
Okay.
list over there?
Yeah. Give me 1 sec here.
Oh, sure. I was vamping for a while so you could pull that up.
I got it here.
Okay.
August 15th, 1984. That's when Rose returns to the Reds as a player manager.
Player manager. Is he the last player manager? Like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Happening ever again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What a wild thing. Can you imagine that today? Like, if there was a player, I can't even think of who it would be. A catcher, maybe, that could be a player. No, you couldn't even do that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so it was fairly commonplace before that. I don't know. It just seems like such a crazy idea.
I know. February 20th, 1989, Rose summoned to the league office. On March 20th, MLB announces investigation, March 20th, 89. The next day, Sports Illustrated lays out the case.
Sports Illustrated was a reputable, non-AI generated publication at that point. So they were kind of the authority on sports. So that's a big deal when Sports Illustrated is writing articles.
Sure, whatever, Smitty. March 30th, 1989, Cincinnati Enquirer, doesn't sound that reputable, details previous investigation. I don't know. I guess that, whatever. April 1st, 1985, Giamatti becomes commissioner. That's not Paul.
It is Bart Giamatti, who's actually the father of Paul Giamatti, the actor.
Yes.
Bart Giamatti may actually be one of the last few commissioners that actually loved the game of baseball and wasn't just a lapdog for the owners. It wasn't just the owner's lawyer or meat shield. Yeah, there's more about Giamatti coming up. But
April 18th, 1989, Giamatti tells judge key source is cooperating. So
there's a source inside the Reds.
May 9th. So almost a month later, 1989, Dowd report submitted to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I forget the guy's first name, but the Dowd report is much like the Mitchell report. It's named after the head of the committee, but it's a committee investigating everything that was going on with Pete Rose.
June 19th, 1989, and this is one of the many reasons that we would consider Pete Rose asshole of the week. Rose sues Giamatti and Major League Baseball because he fucked up. He's suing.
Yeah. This is why Trump's a big fan, because that's what he does anytime he gets investigated. So
I'll sue you.
Yeah. It's a classic tactic.
This one's in red because it's a big deal, I guess. August 24th, 1989, Rose agrees to lifetime ban from baseball.
Kind of a big deal.
Yes.
He sues Giamatti and Dowd, but then he agrees to the lifetime ban. And that's the key moment in all of this is that is admitting guilt. That's all it is, but he never admitted guilt, which is ridiculous.
Crazy. 8 days later, on September 1st, Giamatti dies of a heart attack. So
that's the cruelest irony of this whole story. I don't know. I mean, anybody can speculate, but I don't remember at the time. But was the stress of this situation too much for Giamatti to handle, and he fucking dies a week later? It's just unreal.
Or was he taken out?
I doubt he was taken out after Pete agrees to the lifetime ban, but I don't know.
Crazier shit has happened.
All
right. Fast forward.
Tinfoil hats.
April 20th, 1990. I mean, the Pope's a White Sox fan.
I know.
How can anyone believe anything? American. He's American.
He's from the South Side. You probably ate an Italian beef with him at one point.
Never mind. That we'll go down a rabbit hole on Italian beefs and stains on hockey jerseys.
Okay, yeah, let's not do that.
April 20th, 1990.
Baseball podcast.
Rose pleads guilty to tax fraud.
Yeah.
Good guy there. He's a real good guy.
So he pleads guilty to tax fraud. What year is this? I'm sorry, I missed that.
April 20th, 1990. So
yeah, he's having a rough couple. That's a year, 89 and 90. Yikes.
February 4th, 1991, Hall of Fame votes to keep Rose off ballot. So that's an interesting moment because the Hall of Fame actually has voted to keep Rose off the ballot. So
they're independent. They're not owned by Major League Baseball.
right.
They can do anything they want. But the way I always understood it is that if Major League Baseball puts someone on the permanently ineligible list, then maybe the Hall of Fame just decide we will make that our decree as well. If he's on that list, they can't be in our Hall of Fame. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that wasn't done, after the Black Sox were banned. Hall of Fame didn't start till 1932, in the 30s, I guess. So that they had to have some rule to keep the Black Sox, or to at least keep Shoeless Joe out. So
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
September 26, 1997. So now we're
Whoa, we
ahead
jumped.
like 6 years. And here's where the stupidity really begins. Rose applies for reinstatement. October 24th, 1999, 2 years later, Rose attends World Series pregame ceremony.
Worming his way back in.
January 27th, 2000, Rose lawyers again make case for Rose's innocence.
Okay. Even though he already pled guilty, essentially.
Yes. November 25th, 2002, Rose and Selig meet privately in Milwaukee. I remember that. January 5th, 2004. So we are 4 years after they maintained his lawyers maintained Rose's innocence. 4 years later, Rose publicly admits betting on baseball.
I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. I mean,
my God.
At this timeline, we still got a little bit to go.
We got a ways to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get in the. We're gonna go back to the future here because January 5th, 2004. We're going all the way to June 22nd, 2015. ESPN reports Rose bet on baseball as a player. Well, didn't he admit that to 2004?
Yeah, maybe there was a report that, further investigative journalism revealed more shit. I don't know.
I don't recall that, but I will say if we
were doing the blog by then, so I'm sure we talked about it, but at least I wrote about it. I don't recall. I should look that one up, but
yeah, I would give that one a no duh.
Yeah.
Thanks, ESPN.
There must be new evidence that came out is the only reason to bring that out. So
later on that year, December 14th, 2015, Manfred denies Rose's appeal for reinstatement. June 16, 2017, President Trump hires John Dowd as special counsel.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. The John Dowd, the commissioner of the Dowd Report.
July 31st, 2017, very gross. Rose accused of statutory rape. Good God.
Yeah, I can fill in the blanks a little bit there. He admitted to a sexual relationship with a girl that he assumed was 16 years old, which is he was in his mid 30s at that point. He admitted to. He didn't deny the relationship. He just said, "I thought she was 16."
Oh, I remember this now. Yeah.
There's speculation that she was 12 to 14 years old. Even if she was 16, like, what a disgusting piece of shit. And he never denied it. He just, I thought she was 16. And 16 was the age of consent in Ohio back in the 70s when this was allegedly occurring. So, just so fucking gross. And that's enough to make him, he's a lifetime asshole, not just asshole of the week.
November 11th, 2022. So we're jumping 5 years now. Oh, I got a belch. Whoa, that was weird.
Yeah, it is Thirsty Thursday, so.
Rose again asks Manfred for reinstatement.
No.
2 years later, September 30th, 2024, Rose dies at 83. Then
I think we specifically chose not to even mention that because we didn't want to talk about him again. Because
we had made an agreement.
We've already shit on him plenty.
Yeah, we made an agreement that we would not talk about Pete Rose ever again. So that's
Yeah.
another rule that we've broken tonight.
Yeah, we're breaking all the rules tonight. Like I said, we broke the politics rule, we broke the religion rule, broke the Trump rule, breaking the Rose rule.
And I just want to say, as a baseball podcaster, we have talked about abuse of women on this podcast way too much.
Yeah, it should never
like,
have to come up, but
the fact that
between Bauer and
Bauer and the dick pics and like it's fucking crazy. These fucking egomaniacs.
That's why they're assholes of the week. That's why we have the segment, Asshole of the Week, so we can put them in their place.
January 8th of this year, petition from Rose's family.
Oh, you're muted.
No,
I can't hear you. Oh, there you are. I can hear you now.
Let me try it again. All right. January 8th of this year, petition from Rose's family. So now the family's petitioning. Now that he's dead, hey, come on. Give Pops his due. February 28th, 2025, President Trump announces plan to pardon Rose.
This is interesting too. Like,
is that for the tax evasion? Or?
That's the question. Because the only thing he's ever been convicted of is the tax evasion, which he served 5 months in jail for. The president of the United States can't pardon him from gambling on baseball.
I am pardoning you from everything in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
The statutory rape charges were past the statute of limitations because it was so far in the past. So that was never a conviction or anything. So the only thing would be the tax evasion, but just it didn't make any sense. Like he's just pardoning because he can say shit. So
yeah.
Ugh.
April 16th, 2025, Manfred meets with Trump, discusses Rose. I'm sure
that's the conversation we mentioned earlier that maybe baseball's antitrust exemption was threatened if Manfred wouldn't agree to put Trump's best buddy Pete back in. That's the speculation, at least.
I'm also going to speculate they were talking about the upcoming labor dispute they're about to deal with. But anyway.
Yeah.
And then May 13th, 2025, the day before Pete Rose Day at the Great American Ballpark, Manfred removes Rose from permanently ineligible list.
Well,
that was like fucking 20 minutes of just reading a goddamn timeline.
Yeah, there's a lot happening
I'm
there.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I am too. But if you don't get it by now, and if you don't think he's an asshole, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. You may be happy he has a chance to go in the Hall of Fame. I think it would be hilarious if we go through all this. Manfred does his part to appease Donald, and then the committee is just like, no, we're not putting this guy in. And then that's the end of it. It's like, so who knows we're definitely gonna have to talk about this again in 2027 because there might not even be a season going on at that point. That might be the only thing to talk about, considering the labor strife on the horizon. If it's going to be the biggest story in sports, we have to talk about it. We had to lift the embargo, but I'm only lifting the embargo on Pete Rose to call him our asshole of the week.
I did see his kid talking about him last night during the Sox game. Connor McKnight interviewed him.
Yeah.
And it was really creepy. What was weird is they look so much alike. It's freaky.
Yeah. The family, they're going to, I think they've admitted, or they've talked about, our dad was seriously flawed and whatever, but he's our dad. And I totally get that. I'm not going to fault them for that. So they're going to be his biggest proponents. And I guess I'd be happy for them that they could enjoy this. I guess there's the lifetime ban does make some sense to me. Like they paid, they did not get to enjoy the Hall of Fame, and that's the punishment. I guess going forward is the question. It's like, well, if you're eventually going to go in the Hall of Fame, if the rule of thumb is basically you're banned from baseball, but we're going to put you in. If you're good enough, you're going to get put in the Hall of Fame after you're dead. Maybe there's some solace in that, and your family can enjoy it. So I kind of don't like that because nobody, Pete didn't know for sure that he was ever going to get put in, and he's eligible again just 6 months or so after he passes away. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird precedent. Also, I'm creeped out when presidents and politics get involved with our sports. That's why we don't talk politics on this, because it's gross, and I don't want anything to. I don't want my favorite pastime to have anything to do with politics, and it's somehow it is intertwined itself disgustingly. And we're talking about this for all the wrong reasons. That's why I love that we started this podcast and framed it around the idea that people are dicks, and we're going to call them out for it. And that's why we have asshole of the week. So there's a lot. What is asshole lifetime achievement award? As he's been for the same reasons we made Pete Rose asshole of the week on multiple occasions. So congratulations, fuckhead.
Woo! Mic drop, everybody.
Word Hole Media.